It's great to come into a room when you see a lot of friendly faces. I could not have asked for a better setup from that marvelous speech right before this. My name is Michel Kripalani, and I'm a work in progress. 1997. The intensive care hospital room is cold and sterile. It's 2 in the morning. The only other person in the room is my father, and he's hooked up to a life support machine. He's just come out of open heart surgery, and he won't survive the next 72 hours. It dawns on me that my father is never going to meet his grandchildren, my children. And as I stand there, I think, why? Why is it that my father is dying at such a young age? And the one thought that hits me above all others is that my father never exercised. And he never taught me how to exercise. And I realized that that could be me soon. And in that moment, I committed that that would never be me. But of course, it was. I had made a lot of commitments to myself over the years. Why is it that some of the most important things we need to do in our life are the things that we avoid? Why is it that we only gravitate to the fun and the things that we're fantastic at? Why is it that we can look back on a day or a week or a month or a year and we've lived an entire life of not doing the things that are the most important to us? For me, I've found that the self-discipline it takes to do what is hard is incredibly difficult. By 2009, I have my life under control. Until I realize I don't. It's Scripps Encinitas Hospital, and I'm the one sitting on the doctor's bench. I'm the one with chest pain. I'm the one wondering how I got here. It's been 12 years since my father passed away, and I'm looking at myself going, what did I do? I didn't see the warning signs. How did I let myself down? I dodged a bullet. It turns out that it's only anxiety. But I commit to myself at that time, in that room, that it's never going to happen again. I commit to myself that my life is different. Until it wasn't. Sound familiar to anybody? I've learned that the easiest person in the world for me to let down is myself. In a few short weeks, I've returned back to my old routine. See, I'm an entrepreneur. One thing you might learn about entrepreneurs is if you tell us what to do, we're going to go the other way. I'm sure a lot of people in this room can relate. And this has been driving in my life. It doesn't matter if it was a teacher or a parent or my wife. No one could tell me what to do. In my mind, I had a lot of success, though. It really didn't matter too much. I was on my 3rd business. Really, 20 years of success. We've licensed Dr. Seuss properties. We're teaching kids how to read. If you've ever seen a child learning how to read on an iPad using Dr. Seuss, that's something that we've created. We were in the middle of growing one of the fastest growing private companies in the US. I was on top of the world. Until July 2011, when my wife Karen walked into my office, unexpected. See, Karen had been having pain in her neck and her face for a little while. And the doctor was positive that it was something muscular, skeletal. They really couldn't quite get down to it. And they wanted to run a standard MRI to rule out the bad stuff. Well, that day she showed up in my office to tell me that the news was bad. And the doctors had found a spot on her brain. And the doctors wanted us to see the neurosurgeons first thing tomorrow morning. It was at that time that I realized failure was not an option because I was not needing to live and take care of myself for myself. I needed to be there for my family. You see, Karen's greatest fear when she walked into my office that day was not that she would pass away. She was scared of what would happen to our young daughters. We had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at the time. And all of a sudden, I realized that I had no choice. I had to be there in case Karen couldn't be there. So I dove into reboot mode, and I did a lot of research, and I wanted to find out why I was so broken and why I couldn't stick to the things I needed to stick to. And I'd like to share with you some of the things that I learned. I learned that successful people tackle success daily. See, as an entrepreneur, I always thought I could swing and swing and swing, and sooner or later I'd hit a home run. Exercise, health, it's not an overnight thing. It's daily commitment, as are a lot of the things that are difficult in our life. It's easy to do what we love and hard to do what is necessary, and I had to find a way. We have so much unlimited choice in this world. How are we spending our time? At night, the night before, I'd say, I need to go to a yoga class tomorrow. And then morning would come, and I'd get on my phone, and I'd realize I didn't have time for yoga. And then lunch would come, and something was on fire, and I couldn't go at lunch. And then nighttime would roll around. And by the time I'm going to bed, at the end of the night, I haven't gone to yoga. And I think, what's the big deal? It's just one day. Until I realize it's been years since I've been to yoga. I learned something crazy. It turns out the most successful people in the world decide what they want to do each and every day. And it's not the people with the largest lists or the longest to-do list. The magic is actually in having the shortest to-do lists. If you look at some of the most successful billionaires on the planet, they will limit their daily to-do list to 3 items. I thought, I could do 3 items. And then that little voice kicks in. Yeah, but you haven't quite always been so good about that in the past. The second thing I realized that it's about accountability. Doing what you say you're going to do. And then that other voice kicks in. Yeah, I'm not so good at listening to what other people say I'm supposed to do. An idea hits me. What if I gather up a bunch of people that are all as broken as I am, and as a group, we commit to one another the 3 things that we need to do each day. And the people that are holding me accountable are peers. And they don't feel like my mom or my dad or my wife. And that is how Commit to 3 was born. It was a simple idea that started on Post-it notes. And we actually rolled it out in our company first. You see, we do normal morning daily huddles. And at the daily huddle, I would show up with a Post-it note. And I would say, team, be with me. These are the 3 things I need to do. And they, in turn, would show me their Post-it notes and show me what they needed to do. And it wasn't just how they were going to spend their day. It was what they really needed to do today. And a funny little thing happened, because by the time 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock rolled around, if John had finished his 3 things and Greg had finished his 3 things and I'd only done one of my things, it was pretty easy for me to refocus, because I didn't want to be the guy showing up tomorrow with the undone Post-it note. And it wasn't me speaking down to the team, it was me being part of the team. And it's amazing how it changed our culture. We moved it from Post-it notes to a website, and once it was a website, we started rolling it out to friends and family. And that's when it got interesting. That's when you saw moms who would finally finish that baby book that they said that they were going to do for their 5-year-old. That's when you saw people making all kinds of exercise commitments who at 11 o'clock realized they hadn't finished them yet and would still do them before they went to bed. The third piece that hit me is it's really about purpose. As I said, my speaking today could not have been queued up better. It was a gift. It's about purpose of why am I doing what I'm doing? It's so easy to let myself down, but when I got out of my ego and my life and my making money or my whatever it was, and I started thinking about my family and how I was going to leave them if I didn't do what I needed to do, that's when it changed. And the thought of daily purpose, asking that question, impacted me in a huge way. My first major success took a while, but it was 7 in the morning, downtown San Diego, March 2014, in a porta potty. And I started crying. I was 10 minutes away from the starting gun going off for the San Diego half marathon. And I was about to run my first ever half marathon. And this is speaking as someone who 5 months prior had never run more than a mile in his life. I'm happy to say Karen's tumor turned out to be benign. And she's with us. We dodged a bullet. My family dodged a bullet. And everything that we've learned has been a gift. My question to you is, are you going to have to dodge a bullet to get into motion? And if it's a bullet, are you going to be able to dodge it? We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. These sequence of events have happened over the last couple years, but I wanted to bring it present to you to let you know that it's possible. This was my morning today. I used to wake up at 7:30. I was up at 5 a.m. this morning. I've been up at 5 a.m. a lot recently. The first question I ask myself is, why am I alive today? And I'll let you in on a little secret. The answer is never about, I need to make more money. I wake up with a lot of gratitude, counting my blessings. After I answer that question, I go into a 10-10-10 routine. I do 10 minutes of reading something inspirational, 10 minutes of writing, and 10 minutes of thinking. How much time do we really spend doing these things that are important? And with 30 minutes of a day, how much can you change your life? I have filled hundreds of pages of journals recently. I have more business ideas bursting out of my head, more lecture ideas, more books that I want to write, more stuff that I want to do, all because I don't grab the phone when I wake up in the morning. My mom taught me how to meditate when I was 9. I stopped meditating in my 20s. I'm back to meditating again, and it has re-centered me. I work out every day. Today I ran 5K, 3.1 miles. It was my third fastest time in my life. Tonight I will plan tomorrow. I'll plan tomorrow in 1-hour increments, and if I can, I'll do it in half-hour increments. Tonight I will keep score. I keep a scorecard on how well I'm doing. I'll show you my scorecard. I started this talk saying, I am a work in progress. This scorecard will prove it. These are the 10 most important things in my life today. Get a good night's sleep. Do my 10-10-10. Be grateful for all I have. And I score myself on a 1 to 10 when I go to bed at night to see how well I did. My most important thing is my 10-10-10. It's the only thing that I'm hitting solid. But until I finish all of these well, I don't have time to start working on anything else. I'd like to offer 3 books, if this is engaging for you, 3 books that have impacted me deeply in the last period of time. The first one is a book called The Power of Habit. I think it's the most important book that's been written on habit. It's only come out in the last 4 years. I believe it'll go down as a total classic. The second book is Triggers by Marshall Goldsmith. Marshall lives here in San Diego. This book is only 3 months old. I believe it's going to be as important as The Power of Habit. And it's where the daily scorecard comes from, for those of you that recognize it. And the third one is The One Thing. The One Thing by Gary Keller helps you figure out what the most important thing is you need to do. What I would recommend is focus on the most important things that you need to do that you don't want to do. Real quick application. How much time do I have? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? 2 minutes. Here we go. Everyone, please bear with me. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take in a couple deep breaths. Science is showing that breathing at 6 breaths per minute is the optimum pace for you to get into the vagus state where you can get deeply into your intuition. One question. Why am I alive today? Answer it to yourself silently. Why am I alive today? Now, with your eyes still closed, what are the 3 things that I really need to do tomorrow? When you've got them, open up your eyes and write them down. You all have pens and paper in front of you. Write down at least one thing if you haven't got 3. What do you really need to do? What are you avoiding in your life? What is really going to make a difference? And it's not got to be a home run. Maybe it needs to be take a walk. Maybe it needs to spend time in nature. Maybe it's I need to call my mom. What are you avoiding that you really need to do? I'm running out of time, so I'm going to ask you to do the next part on break. Tell your neighbor. We have a 5-minute break after this. What a great topic. Tell your neighbor the 3 things that you wrote down. Tomorrow, do them. Do them. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. It's really very simple. I don't have time to go through this, but really briefly, if anyone's interested in Commit to 3, that's the website. You can go check it out. It's a passion project. It is not how we generate money in our business. This is something that I do because I love it. This is what it looks like if you go online. It's a web app. It's an iOS app. It's an Android app. It's a watch app. In fact, while I'm standing here, I'm going to tell all of you that my 3rd commit for the day is to finish this talk and hopefully to inspire all of you. And I'll cross it off on my watch. So, with that, this is me. If you want to connect with me, here I am on Twitter. If you do these things and it impacts your life in any way, tomorrow or down the road, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you, or let's connect on social media. Thank you very much.